Hello. Let's chat today about diet culture and finding food freedom, finding peace within. Now, this is a really big topic, so I just want to scratch the surface with this and just talk about some things that have helped me over the years in recognizing classic diet culture things and shifting my mindset to a place of abundance and no fear. So that's like the main subject is no fear. We shouldn't be fearful of fueling ourselves with beautiful foods, and I'd like to chat about that today. But before we begin, today is the final day to get the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. The link is in my bio here on Instagram or in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. The bundle ends today, less than 18 hours left. I believe it's like maybe even only like 15 hours left to get the bundle from right now. So it ends tonight, Sunday night, May 11th at 11:59 p.m. PST. So that's LA time, which is May 12th at 3 a.m. New York, May 12th at like 8 or 9 a.m. in Europe, depending on where you are. So it's ending soon. So please go grab it if you have not yet. Some people have asked some common questions about the bundle. For example, is this the same as last year? No, it is not, because everything in this bundle is brand new and has never been released before. So it's all new content. You don't have anything that's in this bundle yet, unless you buy the bundle. Then you'll have it. Another question was, are other ebooks of yours in this bundle? So the answer is no, because every year, again, it's only brand new stuff. So the wrap book isn't in there, the burger book isn't in there. Any of the past stuff that I've released before is not in this bundle because it's not new. The wrap book was released in 2023, so it's no longer new, so it's not in this bundle. But the sushi ebook is brand new and has never been before released. I made it special for this bundle launch. Nate made his new cracker ebook for this. Yin made her Chinese takeout ebook for this. Chris made his Bustin' Raw Vegan Myths ebook for this. There are so many brand new things in this bundle. In fact, everything's brand new. You're getting 32 different ebooks for $50. So if you were to buy it all tomorrow separately, after the bundle's over, you would pay almost $1,400 to get everything that's in the bundle. But right now, if you click the link in my bio, leave the live. I don't care if you leave the live to go get the bundle. Go to the link in my bio here on Instagram at Raw Food Romance. Or if you're watching on YouTube, pause the video and go to the description box and go grab the bundle. You have until June 30th, 2025 to download all the content. So once you buy it, you have a little bit of time to download. But once you download it onto your device and it's on your device, then you can access it from your device forever, as long as you keep the files safe. So it's really important to back up your files as well. So there's that, but please go grab it. If you want to get the new sushi ebook and all the other brand new stuff from other raw vegans, it's all raw. This is the only time we're doing it this year, and today's the last day. So if you don't want to wait for next year to get all the other stuff, which we're going to have new stuff next year, get it now. This is your last chance. Again, link in my bio here on Instagram or in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. Let's chat about diet culture. Okay, so before I went raw, I was deep in diet culture. I believed that sugar was bad. I was obsessed with making sure I got more than I needed of protein. I was hyper focused on weight loss. That was something that I really clung to, even though I struggled with it seriously. But it was like my main focus. That's all I wanted. So I would do things like the diet culture rules, so to speak, that were damaging to my body. And I was following these rules because I wasn't eating the proper things. These rules came to be because we're not eating the right things. So we have these rules to like force them into our diet, right? So like under eating, for example, being scared of sugar, over exercising, restriction, and being hyper focused on weight loss. So there are a lot of things out there in society that keep us questioning our bodies and trying to be better. And it's okay to want to be better. But when we are hyper focused on it and that's all we think about and we compromise our health in order to reach those goals, that's where the issue lies. So yeah, the old rules don't apply. So when you're on a raw diet, the old rules don't apply. Like under eating, that's a big one. They're like calorie restriction. It doesn't apply when you're on a raw diet because you need to eat. And the number one reason why people struggle on a raw diet or run into deficiencies or have lethargy or they have serious cravings or whatever is because they're under eating. And it's very easy to under eat on a raw diet. So it's super important to eat, embrace abundance and eat enough for your body's calorie needs, which is not your BMR. Diet culture tells you to eat your BMR, which is very, very, very dangerous. We need to eat our BMR plus anywhere from 500 to over 1,000 extra calories to compensate for our activity levels. The vegan SLP says, I feel stuck in the cycle, overeating, feeling bad, restricting, trying to go raw, failing, and starting again. And that is, you're not alone. You are not alone in this. And this is because of the foods that we have been taught to eat and the rules that we are taught to follow. This is causing us to fall into these cycles. And when you're overeating of the wrong things, then we naturally feel guilty. We're like, oh, we shouldn't have done that or what have you. And then we want to restrict or cleanse, so to speak, to get us back on point. But the cleansing and the restricting is what causes the overeating. So instead, we need to find a special balance where we are eating enough, predominantly or all raw, whole plant foods, and just releasing the processed junk. Like it's not ideal food for us. So releasing that need and fueling ourselves up. Usually, for the most part, we have cravings for our past habit choices, pizza, Doritos, whatever it is. We have those cravings because we're hungry and we crave what we habitually choose. So we need to fuel ourselves up and we need to make sure that we're getting enough calories every day to feel better and to nourish our bodies. So Wicked Up says, you're absolutely right. And it's super important. The restriction is what is one of the main causes of the binges and the overeating. So when you're in that cycle, you binge, or binge to overeat because you're restricting. And then when you overeat, then you want to restrict. So you go in through this like back and forth kind of a yo-yo cycle where you can't seem to get out of it because in your mind, you believe that you need to restrict in order to lose weight or to be healthy or whatever it is. But that is what is one of the main causes of the overeating after, because you've gone, especially if you go too long without eating or you're on like a longer cleanse and you've been eating your BMR for so long, your body is like, what is going on? I need fuel. And the cravings get so intense. And that's when you snap back to the other side because your body has just been so depleted. And that's why I don't recommend eating your BMR. And then some people who eat their BMR, they'll message me and they'll say, I can't eat more than 1,300 calories a day or I gain weight. And the problem with that is when you're eating only 1,300 calories a day, which is what a 2 or 3-year-old needs, then your body is in famine mode. It's under low-grade stress every day because it doesn't know where the calories are going to come from. So it stores anything that you eat on those overeating days. So you restrict, and then you overeat. And on those days, your body's like, oh, there's abundance. Oh my gosh, let's store it all, right? So the body will store it all. And that's why people are like, oh, well, I can only eat 1,300 calories because I gain weight. But your body is in a state of famine. So the way that I have seen most people are able to come out of this is if they are currently eating 1,300 calories a day, instead of going from 1,300 calories a day to 2,100 calories a day, that might be too much of a jump for your body and your body might be scared and start storing. So what I would recommend is be consistent with this and don't stay at 1,300 calories, but every day or so increase it by like 50 or 100 calories until you get to 2,100 calories and just go slow with it. Train your body to trust you. To trust that there's food coming in. Because when you're in a constant state of famine, your body is in low-grade stress all the time because it doesn't know when those extra calories are coming. And also one other thing to keep in mind If you are only eating your BMR, or if you're seriously restricting your calories like that, and you're doing like most people are over exercising as well on top of that, so they're burning like 500 to 1,000 plus calories a day just with exercise. That's not including their job, running after their kids or whatever, all that extra activity. Talking takes extra calories too. So if they are not eating enough calories to compensate for not only their BMR, but also all the activity that they do, the body is like, where am I going to get this energy? I need to expend the energy because they're going for a jog. Where am I going to get this energy? The body will break itself down, not just fat, but protein as well. So it's going to break down your muscle mass. And this is why people who are on calorie restrictive diets tend to get sagging in their skin and face, because the body is eating the collagen and the muscle mass to compensate for the energy that you're not giving it. So it's very important. If yes, you might want to lose weight, but if you want your skin to be as good as it can be, I mean, obviously we're not going to all go back to when we were 20, but you don't want to get that extra saggy by under eating, because your body's going to eat itself, so to speak. So let's see, there's a reason the first three letters of diet are die, right? There's two different definitions of the word diet as well. Diet in the scientific form is what a species eats. That's their diet. That's kind of what they eat, like a panda's diet or a shark's diet or whatever. And then there's diet culture diet, which is restrict. So there's two terms, but yes, the diet is the diet culture one. Let's see here. Vegan SLP says, I feel like most people are addicted to processed foods and cooked foods. I will keep trying to go raw. Because it's when I feel the best. And if you feel the best, then why not give yourself the best, right? You deserve it. You deserve it. A lot of people will tell me sometimes, they'll say, why don't you eat whatever you want? You deserve it. And I'm like, but I do eat whatever I want because I want to feel good and I want raw food. So that's what I choose. I don't want to eat those other things because they just don't resonate with me. And it comes to a place where you are comfortable with that, with releasing it. Something that really helped me, and that might help you as well, is if you have a craving for something that you no longer want to be eating, whatever that might be, tell yourself that you'll have it some other time. Because when you say some other time, that could mean never, right? But you're also releasing the never. Because some people will say, well, if I could never do it if I can never have Doritos ever again. But it's not saying that you'll never have them. It's saying that you'll have them some other time, which could be never, right? So if you put it off, then you feel a little comfortable because you're finding the freedom in that choice. And that's where food freedom is. You have the choice to eat the Doritos. You have the choice to eat the cooked food. You have a choice to have pizza. But what do you choose? That is complete freedom. When we say we can't have pizza, or we can't have Doritos, or we aren't supposed to have these foods, that puts the food in control of us. That puts diet culture in control of us. But when we release that and we say, it's okay to want Doritos, it's okay to want pizza, it's okay to want these foods, but I also want to feel good in my body. I also want a salad. I also want raw food. I also want these other things in my life as well. So now it becomes a neutral choice. Which one do you want more? And for some people that might be that, and that's totally fine. That's their choice. But if you truly want health, then focus on the positive benefits you get when you choose something aligned with your choices. And it feels so much better because you are in control, right? I want pizza, but I also want a salad. So what am I going to choose? I'm going to choose a salad because I want it more, right? That releases the shame with wanting something else, right? Because a lot of us feel shame just for wanting a pizza, right? Like if you feel like you want it, you're like, oh, I'm a bad person because I want pizza and I shouldn't want it. These feelings are not healthy. So it's okay to want the pizza. It doesn't mean you're going to choose it. It's just being okay with that possible choice. That's all it is. It's a possible choice. So then you think, what do I want more than that? I want to feel healthy and hydrated, and I want to I wanna have the salad. So then you choose the salad. So yeah, it's really hard to break free. And also with peer pressure as well, you know, everyone around us is eating all these other things and we want to join in. And it's okay to want to join in, right? And if you do, that's your prerogative. But what do you want more for your health? That's the question, the ultimate question. Yes. For fasting, that's another diet culture thing, is fasting and restricting. And I'm not into fasting at all, especially dry fasting is very dangerous. We know too many people who have died during a dry fast. So it's something that we do not promote and won't support that. But I will say, if you're coming off a fast, it's very important to go extremely slow, because when you fast, you are depriving your gut microbiome of their food. So they are fasting when they don't want to fast. They need food every day. They need fiber. The best time to fast is when you're sleeping. That's when we fast. That's when we regenerate, is when we sleep. So coming off extremely slowly and giving yourself time to get those new fibers back in to refeed your gut microbiome, because it atrophies during a fast. It gets weaker because it just doesn't have the food source. So it's super important. I know too many people who have come off a fast and they feel great on the fast. They might feel awesome, but after the fast, they can't digest much and they're having troubles with that, and they have more digestive issues, which again causes that cycle again. They don't feel good, so they go on another fast. They atrophy their gut, and then when they eat again, they don't feel good, so they go on another fast. And this causes a loop where they get stuck in this constant need to fast, because their gut is just getting weaker and weaker because they're not feeding their gut the fiber that it needs. So it's super important to make sure that you go slow, start slow with easier foods, and then slowly, gradually increase those other foods. Very, very important to do that. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, when we overeat, then we think we need to do a cleanse. When we don't, we just need to stop doing those other things and start supporting our body. If we want to support true detox, we have to give our body nutrition, because it needs nutrition in order to detox. Like phase 2 liver detox requires specific nutrients that we can make from our food to facilitate the detox process. And we need that. It's very, very, very important to support your body. BMR, eating for those on bed rest. Yes, exactly. I refer to BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. That's at complete bed rest for 24 hours, not even talking or anything. You're just like laying there. And that's what I call BMR, is bare minimum requirement. That's what your body needs just for your lungs to function, your heart to pump, and your hormones to run and all that stuff at complete rest for 24 hours. That means you're not moving, you're not talking, you're not doing anything. You're not burning any extra calories. But if you have a job, if you have errands to run, if you exercise, if you move, if you talk, you need more calories than your BMR. So yeah, that's a dangerous one when diet culture tells you to eat your BMR. Heather says, I made raw vegan pizza this weekend, and that's good, right? If you want pizza, have a raw pizza. If you want sushi, have raw sushi. If you want zoodles and marinara, or pasta and marinara, have zoodles and marinara. There's so many awesome, fun things to make as a raw vegan that you can have instead that are still satiating. And as time moves on, as you make these positive choices for yourself, your habits change, thus your cravings change, which we'll talk about in a second here. Thank you for all of these comments. This is great. Tessa says, wow, this is so enlightening. You and Nate speak on larger calorie numbers that are so foreign to me, expanding, adjusting my mind slowly on this, just like volume salad eating. And yes, Tessa's part of our community, and she has grown so much in how she treats her body with food. And she has built her salads to be volume salads, because we need to eat volume. On a raw diet, the foods that we choose are very low in calorie density, so we need to eat more of them to get enough calories. So it's important to eat bigger salads, and it's also important to eat more meals more often, because they're so easy to digest. We tend to get hungrier more often, and it's not a bad thing to be hungry. So many people feel like it's so bad to be hungry, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit here. but they think it's bad to be hungry after 2 or 3 hours. They feel, because modern society has all these really high density calorie foods, that we're full for like 6 to 8 hours sometimes, or sometimes all day, right? We eat some like really dense calories and we're full for all day because our body's taking like forever to digest it. But also we're trained that we need to be full for 8 to 10 hours or whatever. When in reality, when we are eating nature's food, when we're eating fast digesting food, then we do get hungry more often because our bodies are like, more, give me more, this is awesome, right? So eating more often sometimes can help if you're trying to reach your calorie goals. For me, I aim for around 2,400 calories a day. Unless I'm really active, then I tend to eat more. When you're active, you burn more calories. You need to compensate for those calories. So I'll eat like around 2,700 calories sometimes. But that's my range. Everyone's going to be a little different. Again, it's your BMR plus your activity level. So that's where I land. In order to get that though, I can't do 1 meal a day. I can't do 2 meals a day. I have to eat more often in order to get that much calories, because we can only fit like 500 to 700 calories of raw food in our stomachs at any given time because of the water content and the fiber content. Those stretch our stomachs and we can't fit anymore in there because of the bulk. So once that bulk dies down a little bit, once it's digested, then we can put more in. So that's ideal because it's easier to digest. So we tend to eat around 3 to 4 times a day. On the best days, it's 4 times. We wake up, we have fruit bowl in the morning, just cut up fruit whole. Then we go for a workout and then we have a smoothie at around 9:30 in the morning. So we eat our fruit earliest we can, drink our liter of water, and then we have our smoothie after our workout. Then we have our lunch, and we have any snacks if we want some snacks. Fruit is our snacks. And then dinner is another, like say 500 or 600 calories. So we can reach 2,400 calories if we eat more often. It's really, 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 really hard to eat 2,400 calories in 1 or 2 meals in a day unless you're eating high fat. And we don't want to eat high fat because we want to keep our insulin sensitive, so we have to eat hard carb. It's a lot of fruit to get those calories, but we also have to eat more often. So those are some things on that. Thank you, Tessa, for sharing. Tessa says, happy Sunday, Lissa. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers today. Yes, happy Sunday, Tessa. Even the term weight loss is negative. That's a good point. Yes. That's something that is a focus that I want to talk about. Yes, the refeeding window is very important. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Rest for resting, RMR. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So with the hyper focus on weight loss, I used to be super hyper focused on weight loss. That was like my main goal. And I did all kinds of different diets and over exercise, and I even underate. Like I went to the gym one time, I got a personal trainer and she had me journal my food. I was eating like a 1/4 cup of oats in the morning with whey protein. And then for lunch, I would have a salad. This was before I was raw, by the way, or vegan. And then for lunch, I would have just like chicken breast with maybe a couple spears of asparagus. And then for dinner was more chicken breast and broccoli. And that's pretty much all I ate. I didn't eat cheese or anything like that. And I was eating roughly anywhere between 800 to 1,200 calories a day, which is under my BMR. My BMR is roughly around like 14 and a half, like almost 1,500 calories a day. That's my BMR. I was eating less than my BMR. I had hardly any energy to go to the gym. My personal trainer sent me home twice during that 2-month challenge that we did because I had no energy. I couldn't work out. I was just like exhausted. My joints were inflamed. My acne was really horrible. I felt horrible. I felt better because I wasn't eating junk food, but I felt worse in many ways because I wasn't feeding myself. My skin got really saggy. Yes, I lost 20 pounds, but it was not worth it. It was not worth it. And she was checking off my journal at 800 to 1,200 calories a day. I was mind blown. Like once I went raw and I understood that you need more calories to function and to get that nutrition in, I was appalled that she was checking off my food journals at those calorie counts. It was almost super irresponsible of her to do that because I was under eating, and I would have, if I had continued doing that, I would have run into nutritional deficiencies. My gut problems were worse on that diet too. It was just horrible, but I believed that that's what I needed to do to lose weight. before I learned all of this stuff. And when I went raw, I released the focus on weight loss. I just was like, I don't even care if I lose weight. I'll probably lose weight, but I don't even care. I want to focus on my health, because I had heart flutters every night. Almost, I would wake up and I would feel like I was having a heart attack. I was in pain. My hormones were so out of balance. My gut was a mess. I was it was painful. Diarrhea, constipation back and forth, painful gas, bloating, felt like there was sharp knives in my stomach all the time. And I ate a lot of junk food, but I also would go on these healthy stints as well, what I believed was healthy, to lose weight. I would do that, restrict and then overeat, and restrict and then overeat. I'd go back and forth because I was always under eating so much. So when I went raw, I was like, I don't care. I want to focus on my health. I don't want to have these heart flutters. I don't want to get a heart attack. I don't want to, I was only 34 and I was having all these issues, and I didn't want my future self to experience worse stuff. So when I went raw and vegan, I went vegan and raw at the same time, because I felt raw just resonated with raw the most. And at that point, I released the hyper focus on weight loss. I was like, I don't care. And the weight came off. It just came off without me even trying, because I was focused on eating abundance. I was focused on eating a wide variety of foods, and I was focused on staying low fat while still eating fats, not scared of fats, but I was enjoying, the 10 to 15% calories from fats, and I was eating whole foods. So it was so freeing to not focus on my body weight. It was the most beautiful thing that I had experienced, and it changed my life. So that's something that I would like to share as well. Vegan SLP says, you are describing me. I wake up in the middle of the night with a racing heart, and I have the knives in my stomach. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, and it took time for that to go away for me. I haven't experienced those heart flutters since going raw. But like the gut problems, that took time to get over and stuff. Heather asks, how did you find out about raw vegan? So in 2004, that's when I first saw a couple books. Like, I worked in the health food store, so I was exposed to a lot of different diets, a lot of different books, all the supplements in the world that I could ever want. But I still didn't change what I was doing. I knew certain things, but I wasn't changing what I was doing. And when I would try these other diets, they were fads or trends, and they weren't actually sustainable or ethical. Because now that I'm vegan, I choose ethically. I don't eat animal products at all, not even honey. So there's that. But I discovered raw in 2004. I was 24, and it was David Wolfe's book. I don't follow him anymore, but at the time, that book really resonated with me. And then I started to do the high fat raw. I would do it for a couple days and then fall off because I would be under eating because I was stuck in diet culture. And I was also obsessed with fat. I was scared of fruit. I was scared of sugar because diet culture tells us to be scared of carbs and sugar. So I would always limit my fruit. And then I would, I'd eat some greens, but most of my diet was like fats. I'd do like 1 or 2 avocados a day and like handfuls of nuts. And that was causing insulin resistance. So whenever I would eat fruit, I would blame the fruit for being tired when it was actually the fat that was causing the problem. So I did that for 10 years. I did a lot of different diets. I did like nourishing traditions, and I would do raw like 100 times in there, 3 days on, maybe a week. The longest I went was 2 months in that decade. It was like from 2004 to 2014. But I did all kinds of stuff in that realm or that decade. And then in 2014, when I was having those heart flutters and just like really exhausted in my life, I chose to be vegan because I was watching Fully Raw Christina, and somebody in the comment section said, watch Earthlings, Cowspiracy, and Forks Over Knives, and you'll go vegan. And I was like, okay, I want to watch some documentary. I was trying to get inspiration to like go raw again for the millionth time. I watched those 3 movies and I was vegan instantly. And I've been vegan and raw for over 10 years now. But that was instant. Overnight, I was vegan. And I was like, well, let's do raw again. But I'd never tried the low-fat version. So I went with it. I was like, okay, I'm going to try low fat because I've never done it before. I'm going to be okay with eating fruit. I really had to trust the process, but I really enjoyed fruit. I remember one time before I went low fat raw vegan, I ate 4 or 5 oranges at once, and I felt so guilty for it. I was like, I hope that was okay. And now when I look back at myself, I'm like, girl, because I was so scared of sugar. I was so scared of fruit sugar. Like, it's not something that we should be scared of, right? We need to eat appropriately. We need to eat in abundance. So, it's crazy. The Vegan SLP says, thanks for continuing to be an inspiration every time I feel like giving up. Oh, every time that you get into those situations where you feel like giving up, you're struggling, maybe you choose something differently for yourself, be gentle and learn from it. They're never mistakes. They're just learning opportunities. They're opportunities for you to learn what you did, why you did it, and what you could do differently next time. So be compassionate with yourself and you'll get there. Strong Body Green Mind says, for me as well, I discovered raw veganism at the same time through Durian Ryder, Megan Elizabeth, and Time Can Order primarily. All are little to not active anymore. Megan Elizabeth is no longer vegan as well. But again, a lot of these people were very restrictive. They did a lot of juice cleanses or high fruit or only fruit for a period of time. And this can deplete the body. That's why I try my best to inspire people to eat more variety and to eat abundantly, because a lot of people tend to go back to eating animal products when they are restricting themselves. And this is seen time and time again. So that's interesting. Question on honey production and ethics. Are the bees harmed in the process? Well, this is a great question. It takes, I don't know the stats. I wish I had the stats in my mind right now to share with you, but I'm gonna just give my best remembering. But I think it takes one bee their entire life to make half a teaspoon of honey. So if you are having 1 teaspoon of honey, that bee, it was their entire life to make that half teaspoon of honey. And it takes X amount of bees to make X amount of honey. And most in the honey industry, they take the honey and they replace it with sugar, like corn syrup or whatever. So the bees aren't getting their natural food source, and the bees collect the honey for themselves. It's not for us, it's for them. And they have survived for who knows how long, like millions of years without us taking their honey. We are exploiting bees in order to take the honey, and even local farms and stuff, like the beekeepers are going to say that they care for their bees and all this stuff. And I still believe that we are taking something from another species that is not ours. So I think leaving the honey for the bees. I love the beekeepers that don't take the honey, that keep the bees so that they can pollinate our beautiful earth, right? So those are the beekeepers that are doing a great job, because they don't take the honey, they let the bees live in peace, and they don't get stressed out. I think a lot of bees get really stressed out because, number one, most of them are eating corn syrup. And for 2, they're stressed out because they just keep collecting this honey and then it gets taken. And they're like, what? So I think that a lot of them are stressed out. So those are just my thoughts on it. I'm totally not into the honey. And maple syrup, let's do some maple syrup, right? Or date syrup, even better. Date syrup is raw. So Daynard says, this is exact why I'm in her community. Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. The information she gives us daily is just amazing. I truly don't know how she does all she does. Lissa is like none other. She even takes time to answer all the questions. Thank you. I do try to get to everything. I might not get to everything all the time, but I do try, and thank you so much for the kind words. I love to share as much as I possibly can with everybody. It is my life purpose, definitely. I'm just looking here on my list. Okay, next. You are brave for watching Earthlings. I could never bring myself to watch it. Not even Dominion. Oh, Dominion's even worse. If you wanted to watch Dominion, I would recommend turning off the screen or put like a towel over the screen and just listen. Because at least you can hear the information that they're sharing and you don't have to actually watch it. If you're already vegan, You don't necessarily have to watch it. But I think in a way it's a prerequisite for anybody, any human being on this planet to watch those movies, because they need to be aware of where their food is coming from and what is happening to these sentient beings in order for you to have a sandwich. And most people who can watch that movie have the ability to choose something different, right? So it's a hard movie to watch. It's definitely, but I found Dominion even worse. So if you can't watch Earthlings, then you'll definitely have a really hard time watching Dominion. It was horrible. I've seen it 3 times, and each time I'm crying. It's really hard to handle. But I could see, like, when I would do some activism, I've done like Direct Action Everywhere and some other vegan activism things. I would listen to the movie. I would put it on and listen to it, so I felt kind of like empowered for the animals before I'd go on these events or whatever, so that I was like, you know, kind of more inspired to speak for them. So that's just a side note there. I had no idea that the bees needed the honey. Yes, that's their food. The honey is their food. That is for them. And the honeycomb, like the beeswax, that's their home. Like, we're taking their home to make candles when we can use other stuff, right? So yeah, the bees really need their honey. That is their ideal food source. And they need that kind of stuff. So yeah, all the bee stuff. Cultured bees are decimating the wild variants. That's a good point too. A lot of honey that is like commercially sold, like in Costco or whatever, these bees are taking over like the wild bees. There's lots of different species of bees, but you know, the honey bees that are cultivated, they are taking over and they're causing an imbalance in the bee species as well. So yeah, honey is actually vomit, and it's used for their babies. Yes, so yeah, good point, Nate. I love you. Heather says, I'm still learning about low fat and not to be afraid of fruit. That's a scary one, because I understand diet culture has us scared of fruit, but fruit is our ideal body food, right? Fruit and vegetables, greens, sprouts, herbs, spices, those are our ideal foods, so we shouldn't be scared of them. And when you eat lower fat, you can eat more fruit because your insulin works better. When you're eating higher fat, you're forced to limit your fruit because insulin doesn't work as well when there's high fat. So as you lower your fat, you can increase your fruit. So think about it that way. Low fat, high fruit. Yay, everything's all good with the world. Let's see, what else do we have here? We don't have any other questions, so I'm going to go on to the next thing. Cheat days. Woo! Cheat days. So I was always taught in diet culture that it's okay to have a cheat day once a week. And I don't want to cheat on myself. I don't want to cheat myself from health. I don't want to take that one day and cheat, because this is another thing that causes the binge restrict cycle. Most people on their cheat day, they're overeating calories. And then when they're good all week, they're eating 1,300 calories, right? And they're restricting. And then they have their cheat day, which gets stored as fat, and you feel crappy, and it's hard to get back to your restriction and all this stuff. Cheat days are a diet culture rule. You don't need them on a raw diet because you are eating abundance, you are fueling up, and you're enjoying the food every single day. On a raw diet or a high raw vegan diet is a treat day. You are treating yourself to health. So instead of having a cheat day to treat yourself, have every day to treat yourself with healthy food because you deserve it. So yes, I don't do cheat days. I do treat days every day because I get to eat whole foods that love me back, and I don't have to have a cheat day. Focus on overall health. Again, the body is going to change, and the shape is going to change, and we are going to age. And these are all things that we need to be comfortable of and accept, because there is no perfection. The thing is, almost everybody who gets judged on social media or in society, if they get too skinny, they're told they're too skinny. If they gain weight, they're told they're overweight. If they're just right, depends on the people. Some will be like, oh, you look better back then. Oh, you look better when you were skinny, or whatever. Everybody is going to have a judgment on your body, which it's 2025. We should no longer be judging other people's bodies openly. in the public. Like, it's so rude to be commenting on other people's bodies on social media, because this perpetuates the not good enough feelings, diet culture, and body dysmorphia. Because when you get a comment where someone says, oh, you looked better back then, then you're like, oh, like, I need to do something to get back to that in order to appease this one random person on the internet. You need to fuel your body and feel good in your body, no matter what stage you're at, no matter what weight you are, and no matter what age you are. Learning to accept that and appreciate your body for what it is and what it does for you is more powerful than any compliment that you can get on your body. So I just wanted to share that, because that's really important as well. Release fear and guilt over food. Again, we are not here to impress anyone. We are here to enjoy our life, and we're not here to be better than by eating a specific way or judging others for not eating the way we are. So that's something that I've noticed a lot in the raw vegan community, and even the vegan community, is people judge other people's diets and how they're doing it. And yes, there are ways to do it wrong or incorrectly. Like, if you're only eating lettuce and avocados, that's not going to be good for your microbiome. But this is science. This is basic fact. So obviously we're going to speak on those things and make sure that you are inspired to eat variety and eat abundance and all this kind of stuff. So there are ways that you can damage yourself on any diet. It's not just raw or vegan or whatever. Omnivores have a lot of issues as well. So, we all have to make sure that we plan our meals properly to get the nutrition that we need. But judging other people openly on social media and telling them this and that, like, I used to be bullied a lot, and I've said this many times. I used to be bullied for eating garlic because it's not human food. I'm constantly low-grade gaslit sometimes by certain people because I eat broccoli, and they say, well, that's not human food or what have you. But I choose it because I understand the benefits of broccoli. I understand the benefits of garlic, and this is why I keep them in my diet. So I found for myself, and through research, looking at the facts, these foods are awesome foods. So I keep them in my diet. Now, everyone's going to be different. Everyone's going to choose different things based on their body, where they're coming from. That's another thing too, is like, it really depends on where you're coming from. If you're coming from a diet that has weakened your gut to the point where you can't eat these things, it doesn't mean that broccoli isn't human food. It just means that your gut is weaker, but you can build it. That's the thing. You can build your gut so that you can eat these other foods that are so beneficial to us. So that's something as well. Don't negate all the good that you've been doing. Oh, this is something that diet culture does often. It's like, if you're doing like so good, and then you make one choice that is off your plan, we berate ourselves. We beat ourselves down. We're like, oh, I suck, And it's like, no, you don't. Look at all the other positive choices you've made in your life. One negative choice isn't going to negate everything that you've been doing. It's just one choice. You learn from it, you change, and you continue on, right? One choice doesn't negate all the positive things that you've been doing. And then releasing perfectionism and finding body neutrality. Again, learning to love our body wherever we're at, and not using exercise as a weight loss thing. That's something that I released early on as well. I'm still working on learning to love exercise, but exercise is like, weight loss is like last on the list of what exercise does for us. So instead of focusing on weight loss, exercise because you want to improve your cardiovascular system. Exercise because you want to improve your bone density. Exercise because you want to get stronger. Exercise because you want to see your grandkids and play with them. Exercise because it improves your mood. Exercise because it improves your sleep. Exercise because it improves your gut microbiome. Exercise for these reasons. And then the weight loss will happen. If you need to release a little bit of weight, then the body will release it when it needs to, based on how you're eating and how you're exercising. But don't have it be the focus. Don't exercise because you need to lose weight. Exercise because you value your body exactly where it is, and you want to give it the best support that you can. So yeah, that's a very, very important one. Also, affirmations. Affirmations are really big to help break free from diet culture. Tell yourself fruit is okay. I love fruit. Fruit is okay. I love exercise. Exercise is okay. I love eating abundantly. Eating enough is okay. When we tell ourselves these things more often, over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, it's all about consistency. We start to believe those things instead of the diet culture things. So start to write down maybe 10 affirmations that you want to believe and start saying those to yourself every single day. Very important. Tessa says, after decades of diet culture has done a number on my emotional psyche. This IG Live and the Raw Food Romance community is helping unwind the fears of body weight. Oh, thank you, Tessa, so much for sharing that. This is such an important topic, and it's not talked about enough in the raw community or even the vegan community or the health community at large. Because when I went to work at the natural health industry, I was still taught the same concepts, just in the natural health way, right? It was no different. We were just choosing different foods that still had chemicals, and we still restricted our calories, and we still had to, we were still stuck in diet culture. It was just more natural diet culture. And it's really breaking free from that and building a healthy relationship with food. It's so important to build a healthy, loving relationship with the food that we put into our bodies. So I'm so happy that's helping you. Thank you for sharing that, Tessa. We love you. Strong Body, Green Mind, we love you too. That's why gratitude and forgiveness are important for the past and current trauma we caused and are still causing unknowingly. Exactly. Yes, gratitude and acknowledging all the good that we're doing and supporting our body again through it with compassion, with abundance, with love. We don't restrict we don't say, oh, you can't eat that to our loved ones, right? We want them to be nourished and stuff like that. So we have to do that to ourselves as well. We have to give ourselves all of the nourishment and all of the variety and all of the enjoyment. So yeah. Oh, and then last but not least, I want to talk about hunger. When I was doing research for a book that I wrote not a long time ago, but it was called Building a Healthy Relationship with Food. When I was doing research for that book, I researched common diet culture things to do when you have cravings. So what does diet culture tell you to do if you have a craving? Almost all of them involved not eating. So it was things like distract yourself, ignore your craving, or wait 2 hours, and if you still crave it, eat it. A lot of these diet culture solutions for cravings actually made the cravings worse because you're not diving down to the deep root of why you are having the craving. And for the most part, you're having a craving because you need fuel. Your body wants some calories because you're usually calorie restricting. So your body's like, I need something. So you're going to crave what you normally habitually choose, which could be pizza or Chinese takeout or throwing ramen, there's so many options that it depends on you, what your past habits were and what you tend to crave. But when you are hungry, your body is going to send these signals and you're going to crave what you habitually choose for the most part. So instead of ignoring your craving or trying to push it to the side or wait on it or ignore it or distract yourself or what have you, if you have a craving, eat something. Make a smoothie, have a salad, eat some fruit, whatever that is, healthy options, and then listen to your body. Then go call a friend, then go take a bath, then go for a walk. Eat first. When you distract yourself and you ignore your cravings, they come back even stronger because you haven't fed yourself. Your body is depleted and it's looking for something. So if you have cravings, you gotta honor your hunger and eat something that aligns with your plan. Another thing that I'd like to say is diet culture demonizes hunger. Like we talked about earlier, people tend to want to be full for 6 to 8 hours to get them through the workday or get them until they get home or what have you. So we are under this illusion that we have to eat specific things to feel full. And the fullness is an illusion because we're eating really, really heavy, dense calories. And that is causing us to feel full, but it's an illusion because when we are eating natural foods, the foods that are meant for us, we might be hungry more often. And hunger is not bad. That's the thing. Diet culture says that hunger is bad and we have to control it. We don't have to control hunger. What we have to do instead is honor it. Don't control hunger, honor your hunger. If you are feeling hungry, it's not bad. It's not because the food isn't working. It's not because you have to eat denser calories. It's just because you need to eat, and it's okay to eat. Eat food. If you are hungry, eat food. It doesn't matter if you ate 2 hours ago or 4 hours ago or 10 minutes ago. If you still need to eat, eat things that align with your new habits, smoothie, fruit, salads, raw sushi, or what have you. So yeah, that's really important. Tessa says it's difficult at times, but baby steps. Exactly. It takes time to change our habits, just like learning a new language, learning a new instrument, learning a new job, whatever it is. It takes time to learn these things, and it takes time to deprogram ourselves. We gotta be super consistent with our affirmations and our new beliefs and consistent with our new habits, and slowly over time they do change. Sometimes listening to music alone can cause cravings due to nostalgia. Yes, that's true too. So most cravings are because we're hungry, but there are some cravings that do come from nostalgia, cravings that come from watching a TV ad that we've had before. But a lot of this comes from frame of reference. So for example, back in the day, maybe 5 years ago or so, there were a bunch of vegans that would go non-vegan and they would eat oysters, and they would say that they were craving oysters for some reason. And I would think about it and I'd be like, I have never eaten an oyster before in my entire life. So how would I, personally, me, Lissa, ever crave an oyster if I've never consumed it? If I've never eaten an oyster, how would it be ever possible for me to crave it? I wouldn't know at all. I don't have a frame of reference for it. So we crave things that we have a frame of reference for, and this includes nostalgia. And again, watching TV ads, you see pizza and you're like, oh, I've had pizza before. And then you know what it tastes like, you know what it feels like in your mouth. But for people usually who, again, this isn't a blanket statement, but for most people who've never had a specific food, they don't crave it because they've never had it. So they don't have that frame of reference. So yeah, social stuff is really challenging as well because, our friends and family are eating these other foods that maybe we used to eat, maybe we ate together, or it's a holiday or a tradition or cultural or whatever it is. These can actually bring cravings as well, again, because of nostalgia or because of peer pressure. But there are things that you can make that are healthier that you can replace those traditions with and build new traditions. And the reason we have traditions is because somebody started it, right? At some point, and just continue doing it over the years. And you can do that too. You can start new traditions and build new nostalgia with the new food. Like, for example, when I first went raw, the first Christmas that I was raw, I made this like meatloaf with the tomato sauce on top. And I reserve that meal for Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's the only time I ever make those. And over the years, it's been now 9 years. This will be like the 10th Christmas that I've done this. I look forward to this because I have now built a new tradition over it because I chose it every single year. So now that specific meal has become so beautiful and I have so many good memories surrounding it. I don't need a turkey anymore. And yes, it's okay to have fond memories of the times when you ate it in the past, because the past is the past. But what are we doing right now to change our habits, change our traditions, make new ones? It's okay to make new traditions. So those are some of my thoughts on it too. So you don't need to control your hunger. You need to honor it. Honor your hunger. Eat the healthy food. Stay on aligned with your personal choices and habits that you want to make happen. So thank you so much everyone for joining me for this special live. It's a very important topic. We are going to be live again in approximately an hour. We're going to be talking about how to satisfy the 5 tastes on a raw diet. So that's sweet, sour, bitter, salty, and umami, and how to do that on a raw diet. So you're going to want to watch that if you're interested at 11 a.m. PST. Let's see, Strong Body Green Mind says, as long as you start to stand out, or rather stand up, they try to pull you back down, right? Exactly. So you're killing the person that they love. And it's interesting. I've often said that going raw is easy for us, but it's hard on everyone else, right? Like some people think the raw diet is hard, but it's actually easy. The hard part is living in society with what everyone else says. And they don't want you to change. They want you to stay the same so that they don't have to change. They don't want you to change because it's a mirror reflecting their choices back to them and they get uncomfortable. That's why I always say to shower them with love, because they are feeling rejected or scared or fearful or whatever they're feeling inside. It could be subconscious, and they feel uncomfortable. So they bully you, or they debate you, or they joke, right? Because those are their protective defensive mechanisms to protect themselves against the fear and discomfort that they're feeling because you are making a change in your life. So know that it's not about you. Your choices are a reflection back to them, and they are feeling uncomfortable. So you want to make them feel comfortable, loved, appreciated. All that kind of stuff, and that can be helpful as well. Dr. Catherine Coach says, thank you for your words of wisdom. You're very, very welcome. Yes, yes. In activism, the culture especially comes up we've always done it this way. Yeah, and that's something that a lot of people cling to. They cling to the fact that we've always done it, but just because we've always done it doesn't mean it's ideal, and just because we've always done it doesn't mean we're still exploiting animals. For example, for vegan activism, you still exploiting animals. It doesn't matter. If it's traditional, it's still happening. happening. So, it's very interesting. Oh, or they become nutritionists. Overnight. I know that's interesting too, and that's a lot due to a lot of the misinformation that is pumped online. People see like random clips here and there that are parroted from really old information that is no longer fact, right? We learn when new science comes up. We learn, we evolve, we be better. But a lot of people are stuck on these old pieces of information, and then they regurgitate it as new information on social media, and then people still believe that stuff. So it's really challenging out there. Seriously, it really, really is. So yeah, we're going to be live at 11 a.m., which is in about 50 minutes from now. We're going to be talking about the 5 tastes. And then we're going to be live. Our last live for the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle will be today at 4 o'clock. We are going to be rolling some purple sushi. I'm going to have the rice already made because we're going to do inside out rolls. So we're going to do those, but I'll have the rice already made. If you want to get the recipes for the inside out rolls, you got to get the bundle. I'm just going to show the technique. So the recipes are in the bundle. And you're going to want to get the bundle because it's over today. If you appreciate these lives, if you appreciate any help that I've given you, please support by going to grab the bundle. It means the world to us, but most importantly, it's a great way to support yourself to add more raw food to your life, right? Even if you're not an all raw foodie, you don't even have to be raw to enjoy this bundle. All you need is a love of raw food. So go grab the bundle and support yourself by getting almost $1,400 worth of stuff for $50. Like, tomorrow, all of our products will be uploaded to our individual stores. And if you were to buy everything separately, there's 32 things in the bundle. If you were to buy it all separately, it would cost you nearly $1,400. But right now, today only, this is the last day, it's 95% off. You pay $50 and you get to download all the brand new content, including my new sushi ebook, Nate's new cracker ebook, Raw Chef Yin's Chinese takeout. There's so much fun stuff in there to add more raw food to your diet. So at 4 p.m. PST, we're going to be rolling sushi. It's going to be the very last live that we are doing for the bundle. So it'll be your last chance to get it. If you haven't gotten it already, please go to the link in my bio here on Instagram to get the bundle, or go to the link in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. So thank you so much for joining me again for this live. We will be back, like I said, in just a little bit. We will be talking about the 5 tastes. So I can't wait to see you then. And yeah, we're going to have so much fun today. We're also at 4 o'clock going to be taste testing the General Tso's chicken, which is not chicken, it's lion's mane. But we're going to have the General Tso from Raw Chef Yin's Chinese takeout. We're going to be taste testing that on the show. So that's going to be exciting too. So see you then. And as always, mwah, fruit on.